You've seen them. The ones who walk into a room and somehow the air shifts. They don't raise their voice. They don't perform. They don't chase attention or beg for it with a joke or a story rehearsed 100 times in the mirror. And yet, everyone notices. Not because they demand it, but because something about them simply commands it. What is that? That quiet pull that makes people lean in, makes conversations slow down and deepen, makes someone unforgettable long after they've left the room. It isn't good looks. It isn't charm you can practice in front of a camera. It isn't the witty comeback you spent all night perfecting. It's something older, something the ancient Stoics understood long before social media taught us to perform ourselves into exhaustion. True magnetism doesn't come from what you show the world. It comes from what you've built inside yourself. When you stop chasing approval and start building character, people can't help but notice you. Not because you're trying, because you're real. In this video, we're going to walk through 6 habits, all rooted in Stoic philosophy, that create this kind of quiet, undeniable presence. These aren't tricks to manipulate how people see you. They're disciplines that change who you actually are. Calm when others panic, grounded when others scatter, purposeful when others just fill space with noise. Marcus Aurelius knew this. Seneca knew this. Epictetus knew this. The person who masters themselves ends up drawing the world toward them. And that person can be you, starting today. If you're ready to walk this path with us, type 1, choose inner mastery in the comments below. Let's be honest for a second. You've probably tried the other way already. You've worked on being funnier, more impressive, more interesting. You've rehearsed the story that always gets a laugh. You've studied how to stand, how to make eye contact, how to time a joke. And maybe it worked, for a night. Someone laughed. Someone noticed. But then the moment passed, and you were right back where you started, tired from playing a version of yourself that never quite felt like you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The harder you try to be noticed, the more invisible you actually become. Desperation has a smell to it. People can feel it when you're reaching for validation, when your confidence is borrowed instead of earned, when your presence is a performance instead of something solid underneath. This isn't your fault, by the way. We live in a world built on external scorekeeping. Likes, followers, views, reactions. We're taught that attraction is something you accumulate. Enough charm, enough status, enough perfectly timed moments. And eventually, people will see you. But the Stoics believed the opposite. They believed magnetism doesn't come from adding more. It comes from subtracting, stripping away the performance, the neediness, the constant mental math of how you're being perceived. And what's left underneath all of that? Your actual self, your calm center, your real presence. And that, it turns out, is exactly what people are hungry for. In a world full of noise and pretending, someone who is simply, calmly, honestly themselves becomes rare, a kind of relief. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the one people remember. You just have to build these 6 habits, the same ones the Stoics lived by 2,000 years ago. Habit 1. Listen like it's a discipline, not a weight. Epictetus once said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we might listen twice as much as we speak. Simple idea. Massive impact. Think about your last real conversation. Were you actually listening? Or were you just waiting for your turn? Were you present with what the other person was saying? Or were you already halfway into planning your response, waiting for a gap to jump in with your own story? Most people don't listen. They reload. They hear someone's words as a cue for their own turn to perform, instead of as something worth actually receiving. And because of that, most conversations end up feeling hollow, forgettable, transactional. But when you really listen, something changes. The other person feels it almost immediately. Your attention lands on them like warmth. They slow down, they go deeper, they end up telling you things they hadn't planned to share. because your presence made it safe. And safety builds trust. And trust builds the kind of connection most people spend their whole lives chasing and never quite catching. This is the first habit, listening as a discipline, not a technique. When someone speaks to you, put the phone away. Quiet the mental commentary running in the background. Look them in the eye and give them the rarest thing you own, your full attention, with nothing expected in return. The Stoics practiced this constantly. They understood that wisdom doesn't come from talking. It comes from absorbing, from watching, from being fully present to whatever is actually happening in front of you, instead of the version you're imagining in your head. Marcus Aurelius wrote again and again about staying anchored to what is real, instead of drifting into what you wish were true. Listening is simply that idea, practiced in real time, with another person. And here's the strange part. The moment you stop trying to impress people with your words and instead give them room to be heard, they become impressed with you, because you've done something almost nobody else bothers to do. You made them feel like they mattered. People rarely remember exactly what you said. They remember how being around you made them feel. And someone who listens with their whole attention makes people feel like they matter. That's not a trick. That's magnetic. Habit 2. Guard your calm like it's worth something. Because it is. Marcus Aurelius spent years surrounded by war, plague, betrayal from people he trusted, and the crushing weight of running an empire that was slowly falling apart. And yet what survives from him isn't panic. It's calm. A steadiness that held even while everything around him was shaking. His answer to all of it was simple. You have power over your mind, not the events happening outside it. Understand that, and you find real strength. Inner calm isn't the absence of chaos. It's the refusal to let chaos decide how you feel. Watch how people react when things go sideways. A flight gets cancelled. A plan collapses. Someone criticizes them in front of others. Most people spiral. Frustration leaks into their words. Their shoulders tighten. Panic starts making their decisions for them. And in that moment, they get smaller, less steady, less magnetic. But the person who stays calm, who absorbs the hit without falling apart, who responds instead of reacting, that person commands the room without ever raising their voice. People instinctively look toward the calmest person in a crisis, because calm signals something valuable: strength, maturity, the sense that this person can be trusted when things go wrong. This is habit number 2, protecting your inner calm on purpose. The Stoics had a word for this, apatheia, which didn't mean apathy. It meant freedom from being dragged around by destructive emotion. It's the practice of pausing before you respond, choosing your state instead of letting circumstances choose it for you. You build this in small moments. Traffic doesn't cooperate, and you breathe instead of gripping the wheel. Someone talks over you, and you let them finish instead of fighting for airtime. A project fails, and you look for the lesson instead of spiraling into blame. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you're reinforcing something inside yourself, proof that you're not simply a passenger in your own emotional life. And people feel this in you. When you walk into a room carrying that kind of stillness, people relax around you. They sense you won't add to the noise, that you're solid ground when everything else feels unstable. Your calm becomes contagious, and suddenly people want to be near you, not because you're entertaining, but because you're dependable. In a chaotic world, stability might be the single most attractive thing a person can offer. Habit 3. Say less, mean more. Seneca warned constantly about the danger of talking too much. He believed most speech is just noise, filler we use to cover our own discomfort with silence, a way of proving we exist, of maintaining the performance of being interesting. But the Stoics valued economy of speech, not silence for its own sake, but purposeful words, language used as a tool instead of decoration. When you speak, it should mean something. When you're quiet, you're observing, learning, waiting for the moment your words will actually count. This is habit 3, speaking with purpose. Think about the people you actually respect. Do they fill every silence with chatter? Do they interrupt, over-explain, dominate every conversation with their own opinion? Or do they speak less often, but with more weight? Choosing their words with care and saying exactly what needs saying, nothing more. Purposeful speech builds authority almost on its own. When you're selective with your words, people pay closer attention the moment you do speak. They lean in. They remember what you said, because they know you're not wasting their time with clutter. You're offering them something considered. The practice itself is simple, even if it's not easy. Before you speak, ask yourself 3 quick questions. Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now? If the answer to any of those is no, stay quiet. That doesn't mean going silent or withholding yourself from people. It means respecting what language can actually do. Silence, used well, communicates strength and self-control without a single word. Epictetus trained his students to examine a thought before letting it leave their mouth. The undisciplined mind speaks the moment something occurs to it. The disciplined mind filters first, and only releases what actually serves truth, or connection, or understanding. Build this habit, and you stop rambling. You stop filling every awkward pause with nervous filler. You get comfortable with silence, and that comfort itself signals confidence. It tells people you don't need constant verbal performance to feel secure. And when you finally do speak, your words land differently. People remember them. They repeat them later, because you earned their attention instead of demanding it. Before we go on, if this is landing for you, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this one. Habit 4. Meet hardship without flinching. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. They deliberately pictured worst-case scenarios ahead of time, not out of pessimism, but to strip hardship of its power to shock them when it actually arrived. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. He lived through plague, betrayal, and constant pressure, and instead of avoiding hardship, he turned it into fuel. This is habit 4, facing difficulty with courage. Here's what most people do when life gets hard. They complain, they avoid, they collapse into feeling like a victim, and they broadcast their struggle as an explanation for why they can't move forward. And look, that's understandable. But it's also not something people are drawn to. Nobody wants to orbit someone who's drowning in self-pity. People want to be near someone swimming toward the shore, even against the current. Courage doesn't mean pretending hardship doesn't hurt. It means feeling it and choosing to act anyway. It's the quiet decision to face what scares you instead of running from it, to keep your dignity even when life takes away your comfort. Build this habit, and the way people see you starts to shift. They watch you hit setbacks, and notice you don't crumble. You adapt. You solve the problem in front of you. You carry yourself with a steadiness that makes them want to be braver in their own lives. Seneca wrote that a gem can't be polished without friction, and a person can't be shaped without trials. Every difficulty you face is a chance to prove, to yourself first, and to everyone else second, that you're not fragile, that your worth doesn't depend on things going smoothly. And that's magnetic. People are drawn to those who weather storms without losing themselves. Because if you can stay grounded when your own life shakes, people trust that you'll stay grounded when theirs does too. Habit 5. Let your private self match your public one. Marcus Aurelius asked himself, almost daily, to stop debating what a good person should look like, and simply be one. not perform the appearance of one. Be one. Integrity is alignment. It's the match between who you are when no one's watching and who you are in front of everyone. Between what you say and what you actually do. And in a world where most people are performing an edited version of themselves, someone with real integrity stands out like a light left on in a dark house. This is habit 5, living with integrity. Think about how tiring it is to keep up a facade. You claim to value honesty, but tell small, convenient lies. You preach kindness, but talk about people behind their backs. You project confidence while secretly feeling like a fraud. That gap between who you actually are and who you're pretending to be creates a kind of internal static, and people sense it, even when they can't name exactly what's off. But when you live with integrity, that static disappears. You become the same person everywhere, at work, at home, with strangers, with the people who know you best. Your word starts to mean something, because you actually follow through on it. Your presence becomes trustworthy, because there's no hidden angle, no manipulation, no performance built to extract approval. The Stoics believed virtue was the highest thing a person could pursue. Not wealth, not fame, not comfort. Character. And character isn't the story you tell about yourself. It's what you consistently do when nobody's keeping score. Choose integrity, and you stop trying to control what people think of you. You just act in line with your own principles, and let that speak for itself. Criticism doesn't destabilize you, because you know your actions match your values. Praise doesn't inflate you either, because you're not relying on other people's opinions to know who you are. That builds a quality that's almost impossible to fake: trustworthiness. People relax around you, because they can tell you're not playing games, not wearing a mask, not saying one thing while doing another. What they see is what they get. And in a world full of curated illusions, that kind of honesty becomes strangely, powerfully attractive. Habit 6, chase growth, not perfection. Epictetus taught his students to first decide who they wanted to become, and then act accordingly. Notice he didn't say become perfect overnight. He said become, a process, not a finish line. This is the 6th and final habit, choosing growth over perfection. Perfection is a trap. It's the voice telling you that you're not ready yet, not polished enough, not good enough to show up as you actually are. It's the standard that keeps you hiding, waiting for some future day when you'll finally be worthy of being seen. That day never comes, because perfection was never real to begin with. Growth is real, though. It's messy. It's a little embarrassing sometimes. It's being willing to be imperfect in front of other people, to try something you're not good at yet, to admit when you got it wrong and adjust. And strangely enough, that honesty, that visible willingness to keep improving, is deeply attractive. People don't actually connect with perfection. Perfection creates distance. It feels untouchable, and untouchable things feel unreachable. But growth is relatable. It's human. It's the shared experience of stumbling, learning, getting a little better, and stumbling again. The Stoics practiced daily reflection, looking honestly at their own actions, noticing where they fell short, and recommitting the next morning. Marcus Aurelius filled page after page with reminders to himself, not because he had already mastered virtue, but because he was still practicing it, imperfectly, every single day. Build this habit, and you stop pretending you figured it all out. You stop performing flawless confidence and instead show honest self-awareness. You talk about your struggles, not as complaints, but as proof that you're actually working on becoming someone better. And people respect that far more than they respect a polished mask. This habit also frees you from constantly defending your own ego. Someone gives you feedback, and instead of getting defensive, you actually consider it. You make a mistake, and instead of spiraling into shame, you take the lesson and keep moving. You become someone who gets stronger through difficulty instead of breaking under it. And that energy, the energy of someone who's clearly still growing, radiates a kind of hope. It tells the people around you that change is possible, that they can become more too. That's inspiring. And inspiring is magnetic. Bringing it together, so here you have it, 6 habits, 6 disciplines, all rooted in ancient Stoic thinking. On their own, they're just individual practices. Together, they add up to something much bigger, a shift from performing for approval to simply existing with presence. Listen deeply, and people feel valued around you. Guard your calm, and you become the steady point people look for when things fall apart. Speak with purpose, and your words start carrying weight that idle chatter never could. Face hardship with courage, and you inspire the people around you to be braver too. Live with integrity, and you build a kind of trust that's rare and hard to fake. Choose growth over perfection, and you radiate the hopeful energy of someone who's clearly still becoming. These habits reinforce each other. Practiced together, they stop being separate techniques and start becoming who you are. You stop measuring your worth by how many people notice you, because you've built something steadier than approval. You stop chasing attention, because your presence starts to earn it on its own. You stop performing confidence, because somewhere along the way, you actually built the real thing. That's the promise the Stoics made, and it still holds up today. Master yourself, and the world responds, not because you became someone else, but because you finally became fully, honestly yourself. You'll notice it. You'll walk into rooms differently. Conversations will linger a little longer around you. People will seek out your perspective, your calm, not because you're demanding it, but because you've built something rare in a loud, chaotic world, a presence that doesn't need to announce itself to be felt. You don't need better looks, a sharper wardrobe, or a completely different personality. You need 6 simple habits, practiced with intention, day after day. Start with just one. Maybe it's listening a little more closely in your very next conversation. Maybe it's pausing for one breath before you react to something frustrating. Maybe it's speaking only when your words actually add something. Practice it until it feels natural. Then add the next one. Marcus Aurelius didn't become the person we still read about overnight. Seneca wrestled with his own temper for years. Epictetus taught that wisdom is something you practice for a lifetime, never something you finally arrive at. They were human, imperfect, still working on themselves right up until the end. And that commitment is exactly what made them unforgettable, not for what they achieved on the outside, but for who they quietly became on the inside. You can build that too. The kind of presence that doesn't chase attention, because it naturally draws it. The kind people remember long after you've left the room. Quiet, steady, real. If this video gave you something worth thinking about, subscribe to the channel. We're building something here for people who'd rather become someone solid than perform someone impressive. Thank you for spending this time with us. Go be real.